And let's create a new file. Will be a basic text file is what I'm creating for now. And this will be called data.txt. IT software developer program students. That's all I wrote. And we'll save the changes. And we will then simply close the file. A very simple text file. Okay. Next thing, is to create a PHP file to read data.php. I know we've done some of this last time, but today I also want to go into the write and append. So this is just the initial one. Just create the skeleton first, then I'll tell you how to grab the file information for line number 2. The rest of the code is pretty self-explanatory. We are opening the file for read-only purpose. That's line number 3. We grab everything from the file through the handle because we have given the total file size. And then what we do after that is that we display the data and then we close the handle. Can you guys please confirm that you're done with this code? Then I will move on to the next step. So now what you should do is, do you see this data.txt? Right click on data.txt in the project and go to properties. Okay, right click in the project and data.txt, go to properties. Now, do you see this path, the whole thing in the location? Right click and copy that. And paste that right here, just like that. Okay. Now go ahead and run your PHP file. 1 second. Oh, my misspelled. It's my underscore file. And also on line number 5, did I make a mistake? What mistake did I made? F read. F read needs a handle, which I'm providing. A file size parameter, which is the name of the file.
It's trying to escape the backslashes. It's treating as like actual character codes, not
Oh,
the
okay.
raw. I
Oh.
just set it to single quote instead of double quote, and it worked. So it just treats it as a literal.
Let me see. Here we go. Okay, just switch the slashes. Okay. Everybody got this? Let me clear your previous feedback. So please, if you could give me the new feedback. Okay. Now let's save this example as write and read data.php. So I'm just saving the current example as write and read data.php. So let me grab line number 2, copy it, paste it, okay. And I'll still have my handle line also, but this time I'll open my handle for write versus read. And I have a data that I want to write. Data equals to Gateway Technical College. Right now, you will see that the entire data is written out to the same line. So that's fine, I mean, because we are just displaying the data. We're not breaking it up per line. And when you write the /n over here on line number 7, all it does is that when it records the data, it just does it on 2 different lines. That's all it does. But when reading the data, you have to read line by line. And you have to then do the break row, which we will do in our next step. But in this step, I'm just reading everything back as it is. So again, give me a green check when everybody is done. And you can always double click on your text file to make sure that the data in the text file has now changed to these 2 lines, line 5 and line 7, which is Gateway Technical College on the first line and IT Software Developer Program on the next. So we'll wait for Cameron, Christian, Josh, and Tristan. Okay, did you get it, Christian? Oh,
Yeah, I did.
oh, okay. Since you're missing the check. Okay, that's what I was like. Now let's save this example as write and read data to.php. And we will just make the changes down to line number 16, where when we have the entire data, we can run a while loop to read 1 line at a time. While not file end of file data.
Is it just me or is your screen like paused?
Oh.
Yeah, it seems frozen.
Is
There
it
you go.
okay now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, okay. So what I did over here is that I'm replacing the line after I grab the entire data in the data, and between the F close, I'm introducing a loop. And this loop will keep looping as long as the file has not reached the end of file. It will grab the entire data. And from there, it will get 1 row at a time. So that's what getS function, rather it's fgetS function does. And then I can concatenate that with a BR so that every line gets displayed on a new line. Oh, wrong file. Oops. What did I do here wrong? Grab the data. While not file end of file.
Does there have to be 2 slashes in the file path? I remember that used to be a thing in C#, but I'm not sure if that applies here.
Let me double check. Line 16 and 17 is complaining about.
Does it need to be the handle and not the data?
No,
Well, that got rid of the
Right,
got rid of the FEOF errors, just
Right.
not fget.
you know what, you're right, maybe, let's see. We need to grab from the handle one line at a time, rather than.
Not throwing an
Nope.
error, I guess.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but
doing
it grabbed nothing.
It opens up the file for reading. It reads the entire file in the data. And while the file is not is complaining about.
It's saying everything in the world is wrong, but only about 2 lines.
It has to be a resource. End of file. Good as this parameter 1 to be a resource. It was reading it before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else none of these examples would have worked.
Let me try to rerun. That works. Why is it complaining that's not even a resource? PHP. Let's make parameter 1 to be a resource. And that is how you do it.
I don't know specifically what's causing it, but if you comment out the 15 where we set the data and then run it with the end of file handle and fgets handle, it works.
Oh, because, okay, instead of grabbing the entire data set, do it with handle. Or just read directly the file versus grabbing it in another variable. Here you go. Thank you.
Yeah, I did this on my midterm and I was trying to figure out why it worked there and didn't work here when we're doing the same thing. And it must be setting the data.
Yeah. Because we are grabbing in the data on line 15, we're grabbing everything in the file in one line. So there is only one line. And it's a string. So okay. That makes sense. Okay. And if we save this one as number 3, and instead of get S, use get C. What this will do is it will let you read one character at a time, just like that. Okay, everybody with me?
If
so
we
far?
weren't using the while loop with getC, I assume it would be nigh indistinguishable from getS because it would just be all on one line. And it does seem to include the spaces, correct?
Get C only grabs a single character. So
Yeah, I'm getting that, but I'm thinking like without the loop.
if there is no loop, it will only grab the one character, the very first one, and it'll stop.
Oh, so the loop is actually making it grab.
Right, exactly. The
Okay,
loop is making
okay,
it
every
loop.
single. Okay.
Yep. That's the whole point of that loop. Is to keep grabbing characters till the end of the file. Okay. Can you guys create a form with one text element and a text and a submit button? Means what this form will do is it will display a label, enter your name, and a person will enter the name, and upon hitting submit, it will submit that to a PHP page, which will read that form name. Then I'll tell you what we'll be doing next. So this is basically, I created my form and I'm submitting my form to a PHP page called add-data.php, whatever you want to call yours, that's fine, right? And then once I'm done with that, what I would like to do here is that I want to grab the data from this HTML form, and I want to append the data to my add-data.php file. So what I did, I saved write and read data3.php as add-data.php. So I saved it as. So this one, write and read data3, I saved it as add-data.php. Then in the add-data.php, I changed that, I added a line which will let me read the name that's coming from the form into a local variable. Then I changed my handle to open the file for append purpose. So it will append to the existing data. And then I'm adding the name with a new line character to the handle, and the rest of the code stays exactly the same. So the only difference will be I'll initiate the process from the HTML form. I'll put the name in there. Upon submitting it, the name will then appear in the file. So I ran mine once, and this is the name that I added, John T. Okay. If I run mine again, let's say Sarah G. Add the name, and now Sarah G also gets added to the list. Okay, is everybody done testing this?
Yep.
Mason, Christina. I don't know. Mason, are you still working on it? Okay, what some people may also, you will see that will add this piece of code to the open is it's strained, but it's an or with a die. That means if can't find it, you can like literally say cannot open file and whatever file that is. Okay. Now let's see if we can upload a file using PHP, an entire file, and it'll be an image file that we want to upload. So for that purpose, let's first create an HTML form. I'll call this one file upload.html. Since it's a file upload form, that's why I'm adding encryption type, multi-part / form data. Does anybody remember what HTML object type to use or input type to use for uploading a file?
Let me look. I've done it before. Just to find it. Sorry, page. Oh, I didn't use a form for that. Never mind then. I don't. Oh wait, no. There it is. Input type equals file.
Yep. And I'll have a submit button. Okay. So this is basically what our form will look like. So whenever you guys are done with this form, the next page will be upload.php. Again, give me a green check if you guys are done creating the HTML form and are also done creating the PHP file called upload.php.
I'm done with that, but I have dinner, so I'm gonna go grab that really quick.
Okay. Still waiting for Josh to give us an okay. Okay. So what I will do is before we move forward with this, what I did is I created a folder on my computer and I'll share with you what I did. Okay. So I went to the C drive and I created a folder under documents and I called it ZOM with a slash. I mean like ZOM, sorry, that's the name of the folder. And this is the path I need to give to the PHP to tell the PHP server where exactly I want this file to be downloaded on the local computer. So you guys can also choose a location on your computer where you want the file to appear after it gets uploaded by the server. So I chose that location, okay? And it's very important to put a slash after the folder name so that it places inside that folder. So I created a ZOM folder on my local computer under documents. It's totally up to you where you want to create folder, but this is the code that you will write after you're done creating that folder, wherever the correct path of that folder is on your computer. So basically, then what we will do is we are setting up our file variable, which will be the directory, followed by, after the slash of the directory, it will be the file that I'm bringing in as it is will be moved with that exact same name over to the destination folder. So I only want to upload the images. So that's why I set that image file type variable on that file to make sure that it's an image or not. Check if image file is an actual image or not. So if, oops. So this is just a check to make sure that whatever is uploaded is an image or not an image. So our next check will be to make sure that the file doesn't already exist. Uh, We're also making sure the file is not too large. So for that, we will use files upload size parameter to make sure if it is over, let's say 500,000 bytes, then we'll say file is too large to upload. So this some basic checks. That's all we're doing for now. Do you guys remember which variable holds the image file type in this code? Right here, line number 5, the image file type. Okay, so we need to check if image file type not equals to JPG, and I'm going to check for all 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. JPG, JPEG, PNG, GIF. So if that's the case, then we'll notify the user that only these file types are allowed. Your file type does not matches our acceptable criteria. If file is not okay to upload, display an error message. Otherwise, upload the file. So if upload OK equals to 0, that's the only thing where we will say, it's not okay to upload it. Otherwise, we'll upload it. Now we need to check to see there's a process called move upload. That's what we will do in an if condition. It'll also have an else to it. Okay, here we'll say move file from source to destination. Display error if file cannot be moved. So move uploaded file is the built-in function that we're calling on, where's that stuff here? The temp files. The temp files to the target file. Okay, so temporary file is basically on the server, the temporary file that will get moved into the target file location. And if everything goes through perfectly fine, then you can display the message, the file uploaded. Which would be, I'm copy pasting some of the stuff from up there. So wherever you see a piece of code that you have already coded, you could actually do that as well. Let me test this code too, just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly as well. And I don't have any errors. So I'm starting my HTML file. And I'm browsing. And let me grab a text file. Okay, and I'll upload the image. It comes back and says file isn't needs to be an image, right? So you cannot upload. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me browse and select an actual image file like screenshot. This one, open, upload. Oh, I think I already have tested for that file. Just 1 second. That's why it says, okay, let me try again, a different file. Here we go. What? File was not uploaded. File is not an
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Let me check. Documents. File is not an image. File is not an image. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, how is it a
Not equals to false.
yeah.
Okay. Not bad. Let me try again. Okay, so it's being uploaded. Okay. So that's the only chain. Now let me double check on my folder. Here it is, guys. It is the ZOM folder, and here is the file.
Okay, yeah, that worked for me.
Yep.
How about the rest of you? Okay, Cameron says okay. James says okay. Christian says okay. Christina, okay. Josh, okay. Mason, okay. So Thomas, okay. Tristan is the only one left. I hope Tristan is not having any errors. Yeah, Tristan also got it. Okay, cool. You guys have dealt with XML in the past, right? So we will create an XML document, and we will then work with that XML document using PHP. So let me create a new other, and we'll go to XML, an XML file. And I'll go to next. Let me call this one books.xml. Simple XML document. And now if you look at the tabs down below, you will see two of them, design and source. We'll click on the source tab. So once you create the basic skeleton, just copy paste the skeleton 4 times. And then maybe for, oops, I forgot. I don't know. I thought I typed price. Where'd that go? Price. And let me also add publisher. Oops. Publisher. Okay. Let me do this again. Copy this. 1, 2. For some books, you can reduce it down to 1 author. For some, you can leave it to 2 authors. Totally up to you. Okay. For the title, I'll also add a parameter. Let's say language, for example, English. Let me do a French. Okay. And English is fine. The rest of the details you guys can fill in yourself. I just entered some dummy data. Give me a green check, please, when you're done creating the XML document. To run the XML document, go ahead and right-click on the XML document and run it in the browser. And you will see that the XML document is displayed as it is, maybe color-coded. But whatever you wrote will pretty much be seen exactly the same way. The whole idea of an XML document is so that you can structure your record format in a much more structured format than a simple text file. So while you guys are doing it, I'll also do it so that we can all see how it looks like. Before we use PHP, and the browser is displaying it as it is. Okay. Okay, we'll wait for Tristan. When Tristan gives us a thumbs up or a check, we'll move forward. Okay. So let's create our new PHP file here. We'll call this one XML and PHP1. XML equals to simple XML load file. Books.xml or die error file not found. Okay. So when you run this one, you will see the entire XML document just displayed as it is in simple plain text. That's what the print R does, just dumps it all out. Again, whenever you guys can see that, give me a green check that you were able to display the XML document. Okay, Christian, you got it too? Christian sees?
Not yet. I'm still eating. I gotta punch it in.
Oh, okay. So in this example, we are reading an entire XML document inside a PHP variable, and then we're displaying that PHP variable back on the screen.
Yeah, I've got it now.
Okay. Now I will save this example as XML and PHP2. What I will do in my next step is that instead of reading the XML from a file, I will create a local XML string variable. And I will, instead of saying simple XML load file, I will use simple XML load string to which I will give my local XML object, and I'll say object cannot be created. Let me first do this much, and then we will write the code for line number 2. So instead of load file, we're doing load string. So go to books.xml, copy lines 1 through 9. Okay. Go to books.xml and copy lines 1 through 9. Paste that inside the double quotes like that, and then close out with a closing books, just like that. Okay. Now, let me change all these double quotes to single quotes because I cannot have double quotes within double quotes. So, yeah, okay. Just changing all the double quotes to single quotes. And I think that should take care of it. So this probably will make it a little bit more readable for you guys. I just tab space this whole thing. So anybody who is done, can you please give me a green check? Any question, James?
Not necessarily. I'm just getting a weird IO error. Just double checking my code with yours.
Okay.
I probably misspelled something.
Did you make sure you changed the function to simple load string and it's not a simple load file?
Actually, no. Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. Okay, Christian, how about you?
Yep, I've got it.
Okay, cool. Next, let's go back to the PHP 1, XML and PHP 1, this code. And let's save this one as XML and PHP 3.php. So we've got the entire XML into an XML variable. This is where we can start running a loop. For x equals to 0, x should be less than equals to 3, x plus plus, because I have 4 records, right? Echo XML. In other programming languages like Java or C#, if you have an object, how do you call a getter, setter, or a property of an object? What symbol do you use between the calling entity and the object?
It's a dot, right?
Right, it's a period, right? You say object dot get something, object dot whatever property. But here in PHP, dot is already used as a concatenation operator. That's why in PHP we use an arrow symbol between an object and things an object can call. Okay. So we will call the book the very first object. Okay. So right now I've asked the XML that I want to look at the book. And within the book, whatever is the current value of X, right? Now, if you look at your XML document, within the book, you have what? Author, title, publisher, price. So I'll say, okay, within the book, I want to display the title. Okay. And for each of the title, I want to display its language. And that's what I wanted. That's all I want to do. So let me run this one on server. See, so those are my languages: English, English, French, English. So in my XML document, my language has English, English, French, and English, just like that. So that will be the output for this code. They'll just display them in the bullet points. So did everybody get it? Or is it still the older green checks? Let me clear these so that, you know, if you guys can give me fresh green checks. Okay. Christina? Oh, got it. Christian? Okay, cool. Now, can you guys save this current example as XML and PHP 4? Okay. Now, instead of using this kind of a for loop, I will use a for each loop. But in order for me to work with for each loop, I need to grab from the XML document the book, right? Because there are multiple occurrences of book. So since there are multiple occurrences of book, let me display this here. Just 1 minute, guys. Let me close all these files. Okay, so since there are multiple occurrences of book, so if I'm reading a book, the book is coming back as an array. So on line number 4, I'm reading the book tag, but since there are multiple occurrences of book tag, the books will be an array. Okay, so now for each books as book, you guys remember this loop? For each loop, which grabs only one item from an array out into a variable. So it will grab one book at a time from the books into the book. Okay, now what are my parameters here? Let's say I've, let me grab like one author, title, publisher, price. Okay, author, title, publisher, and price, right? So this will be book, author, book, name, book, price. Oh, sorry, publisher. Let me know when you guys are done. Give me a green check. Okay, so Christian and Mason Ronan are the two people still working on it.
Yeah, I'm still working.
Okay. I made some changes. So what I did, guys, I don't know if you guys remember this from HTML. We have a tag called DL. You guys remember the DL tag? What it
Data
does?
table?
So again,
Data table? I can't remember.
no, it's a definition list.
Hmm.
The definition list has two children, just like OL and UL, ordered list, unordered list. We have definition list. So what I did, I used DT for definition term. So that's only for the heading, the book info. And all others are DD. So what that does, it auto indents the contents of DD and automatically makes DT stand out unindented. Okay, so that's what this does. So that's basically what I did here. The only change that I made.
Need to add the DL thing.
Oh yeah, and I did an HR, which allows me to give it horizontal row between each one of them. So those are some minor
Yep.
changes I made, and I changed. We have the following books to an H1. Oops. Well, I think I made a mistake. I wrote name instead of the title. It should be title. Yeah, it's fixed now. see. Okay. What did I do? Hmm. Totally blanking out on how to grab That's what I'm looking for. Because author can be an array at times and not array at other times. Yeah, let me check in our books. Maybe one of the books will have it. So we don't have Alan and we don't have Aiden, right? Okay. Otherwise, if I have to look for it, I just can't remember. Just can't remember. Let's see. Nope. Let's look at the second one. No, that one doesn't has it either. I have to dig for that. I'm trying something. Let's see if this works. So when I'm reading authors, is it only reading a single value? That's what I'm wondering, how it's actually reading it. If it's reading it a single value, or is it reading it multiple values? Okay, so if I display somewhere over here, authors, what exactly does it display it as? Let's see. Okay. It doesn't display authors because so for each author, display wow. I don't know why I'm blanking on this one. I think I'm getting confused between languages now. You guys also dig up for this one. I'm also looking for it. Can't really.
These are like the kind of rabbit holes I go through normal coding.
Yeah. What are we looking for specifically?
Well, the thing is this, that we have multiple authors for some books and we have single author for some books. So right now, the way our code was written, we are only displaying
One.
right, and we want to return an array of authors and then traverse through it. I made one change to my code over here by going author as two-step. But this is all, I'm just trying to find a solution. That's why I did that. So you guys on your existing XML can try to see, if you can find a solution for that as well.
I mean, I think what you're kind of at now would work, but not with the data table setup.
Right, so yeah, yeah. So I want it to be dynamic. Right now, I'm manually pulling out Jamie and Kathy by doing this. I don't want to be able to, I don't want to do that. I want it to be able to just traverse through it if needed. I think this loop is also not working for some reason. Or let me do this. Maybe that will be. No, that doesn't work either.
Mm,
Okay, let's see what it does. Oh, it is working. Oh, that stuff is working. Okay,
so it
let's
is
see.
implementing.
If this stuff works, means it is able to I0, I is less than the count of authors, I plus plus, So now echo author 0. Author I. Let me see if that works. Hey, got it. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So let me start from the beginning. What I did, I was able to pull it out. I can display multiple authors when needed. So what I did, guys, here, the first thing I did in my XML document, I created another tag authors in which I put author as children. And I did it in all cases. All the author are inside a parent called authors. That's what I did. That's step number 1. Once I was done with that step, then I went to my PHP document and I created my authors just like regular, okay? But then since authors could be an array or not, so I ran a for loop here. In that for loop, I am displaying based on the length of the array, 1 or more. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, what I just did over here. Do you guys remember this? That you have a condition with a question mark. Okay, if that condition is true, that means I have more than one authors. So I will display an author name followed by a comma and a space. If I only have one author, then I'll just simply display the author's name. No space, no comma, no space. So that's how I was able to get Sarah and Kara without any commas, and Carlos and Ali with commas.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry. How were you waiting on me?
No, I was just wondering if everybody had a chance to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have it as separate lines, but I can do the single line thing really
Yeah,
quick.
whatever it is, doesn't matter, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a break here. It's almost 7:50, so let's take a break here till like 7:10. So
Sure.
I will see you guys at 7:10. Anybody still catching up, or is everybody done?
I'm still,
That's
like, I
fine.
see what you did. I'm just trying to process it into my own code, and I keep having to jump tabs, so it's hard to keep track of where I am compared to
Oh,
where.
did you make changes to your XML document?
The XML, yes.
Okay.
PHP.
So all the changes I made to my PHP code is right here within the for each.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who's caught up can start their break, and anybody who's still in the process can catch up. So we'll just meet back at 8:10.
All right.
Resume the recording. You guys can see my screen, right? Yeah, okay. We're going to create a PHP file called arrays to XML. Oops. So let me modularize this code. So what I'll do is I will create a function that will convert array to XML. And then we will call the function to complete the process. In the examples that we worked on prior to going on break, we used a simple XML element. And which one was that? Number 2, I think, here, this one. No. It's number 3 or number 4. Simple XML. Oh, no, we all use simple XML file load. Okay, that's fine. I'll use a slightly different approach here. XML underscore data equals to, I'll create an object of simple XML element type. It's a built-in class. I'm calling it constructor. Okay. This is a user-defined function that I'm creating, a function called array to XML. To this function, I'll pass two parameters to data and pass by reference XML data. Why pass by reference? Because I want to refer to it right here on line 29. So when I'm directly referring to it on line 29, I don't have to work with a value returning function. So line number 27, I'll make a call array to XML, and I will pass my entire employees array as a parameter, because this is what I want to insert in my XML. Okay, that's my array. And the second parameter will be my XML data. For each key value pair in the data, process data. Okay, so for each why we have key value here? Because we have a key value in our array. It's a key value array combination. That's why we're using a key value array combination here as well. Okay. If value is an array, so what we are doing here is we're trying to create an employee tag for each one of these square brackets. Now, since each one of these square brackets is actually an array, so we're asking if it is an array, I want to generate a key called employee. And that key called employee will become my employee tag. How will that happen? This is how it will happen. Subnode equals to XML data, add a child node with a key tag, with a key. So that's how the employee will be added to subnode. Then we will make a recursive call. So it'll be a recursive call. And we will pass the value along with the subnode. And this recursive call will continue as long as array is a value. The value is an array. And when that's not the case, we will then go to the else. So we'll add the key value pair as a child. So the value will be whatever is the value, and whatever is the key will become the tag. If it is not an array. So for each individual item, that's how it will go. Then once we are done with this process, remember it's value, it's passed by reference, XML data. Whatever happens to XML data here can be accessed on line number 41. So this is where we are calling a built-in function as XML to generate an XML document. So what I will do for line number 41 is I'll right click on my project and go to its properties so I can get the whole path. I'll copy the path. Employees.xml. If it doesn't errors out, oops, then simply refresh your project. And you should now see employees.xml. Oops, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Let me delete this one and revisit my code. Data as key value pair. If it's an array, if value is an array, and if it's numeric, employee. Where did I made an error? Let me double check here. It is right after employees. It is not creating an employee tag. That's where the error is. Okay, so my employee is not getting generated. So there's something wrong over here. Ooh, that's what it is. I had a colon. Think that should do it. Yep, that's it. I have this XML document with 3 employees now. Okay.
How did you write it to the file?
Oh, I just wrote this
Ah.
path, which I copied the first portion of the path by right-clicking on the project, going to properties, grab the location, pasted it, switched the slashes, and then added the file name.
Yep. Okay, that did work.
Cool.
You said it didn't work?
No, it did.
Okay.
So we'll wait till everybody gives us okay symbol. Okay, so we still have Josh and Tristan working on it, okay? Okay, Tristan is still working on it, okay? Tristan, not Christian. Tristan is working on it. Now recursion, as you see over here in this example, has sort of kind of made our life a bit easier, that recursively you're calling the same function again, and the recursion will end automatically as soon as you run into an object, or I should say an element, which is not an array. And then I'm going to go to the next array and I'll start reading it till it reaches the end of that array. So each one of these blocks is an array. So recursive call till it reaches the end, and recursive call that it reaches the end, recursive call when it reaches this end, and so on and so forth. Okay, Tristan, any errors or something?
No, I'm just running it
Okay,
now.
okay.
It's like, "Ah, take this so long," but it's a product of how I have this set up. I'm like always 2 steps. Yeah, because I can't actually pay attention to what you're doing and follow along at the same time.
So if you do not see any errors, that means it worked, and then refresh your project, and then you should see employees.xml. Is that what you have now?
Yeah, I got the
Okay.
output on the file.
Okay, cool, awesome. So in this approach, as you guys notice, we use a simple XML element class. This was probably the approach that we took where we called in a recursively a method array to XML, and we used some built-in functions of PHP such as add child, and that allowed us to add different children to the nodes that we are creating. We will now, in our next example, take a strictly DOM approach. What is a DOM approach? DOM is document object model approach. So if you ever look at your HTML files, like this one, the HTML files are always created on the DOM approach, document object model approach. Means there's always a root tag called HTML, which has children called head and body, and head is child, meta, and title. Body is tag from, form, input, form. So that's basically called the document object model approach. And this is similar approach is what we will take now, creating an XML document from PHP. So let me create a new PHP file. I'll call this one DOM PHP XML.php. So literally, I will use a built-in class called DOM document. So I'm creating a document object model kind of a document. So I'll initially build my document in the memory. Once I'm done building the document, I will then convert that into an XML file. Okay, so if you guys remember, let me take you back to the previous example. Look at line number 37. You remember we literally copy pasted this stuff? That's not the DOM approach. So now we need to build this in DOM approach. We need to build this, and this is how you probably will do it. So I'll use my DOM, which is my document object model, which is basically my XML, which has a property called encoding. So I'll literally say encoding, just like that. So I'm going into my project properties. And let me grab this path and paste it. Change the slashes. Root tag is the tag that holds all other tags. Make sure you guys fix the error from line 19. By mistake, I wrote set attribute instead of set attribute node. And then when you refresh, you should now see movies.xml added to your list.
What's at
Yeah.
the bottom?
And I'll scroll down at the bottom, right? Just 1 minute. Here we go.
Set attribute node, you said?
Yeah, line number 19. Instead of attribute, set attribute, it should be set attribute node.
There we go. I use the node dot set attribute node instead of node arrow.
Okay.
Yep, it's there.
Does that work for you guys? Okay. And for those of you who are done with this, I have a very short article for you guys to read about the different XML parsers. So we use the simple XML parser and we use the DOM parser. Okay, so is everybody done reading the document? I see that everybody is done with the code and the example. There is yet one more approach left, communicating with PHP in XML, and that's called the simple API for XML. It's called the SAX approach. But the SAX approach is a little bit of a lengthier approach because what you do is you create a lot of functions. You create one function which is used for start of the tag. You will use one function for the end of the tag, and then you will use another function for the content inside, and then you control all these functions from outside. So that's why the approach can get lengthier at times. For example, let's create a very simple XML document. Very simple XML file is what I'm creating. Let's call this one data. I don't have data.xml, right? Data.xml. Okay. Students. Course name. Country. Okay, everybody got this?
Yep.
So now let's create our PHP file called php sax.php. So we'll have a student created as an array, and we'll have elements set to nothing. As I told you, there'll be three functions. One is start elements. And one is called end elements, which doesn't take attributes because the end tag don't have attributes. And then we have character data. So these are the three functions in a simple API for XML. You need to call the functions, but you need to set up your parsers because you need to pass a parser into the body of each one of the functions. So we need to create a parser. So we're creating an XML parser object. And then we need to create handlers. So XML, oops, XML set element handler. Parser is the object. And what is the name of my function? Start elements is the name of my function, which will take care of the start element. End elements is the name of my function, which will take care of the end element tag. Similarly, oops. We have XML set character data handler. How are we taking care of the character? We have a function called character data. Okay, so that's how you pretty much call the handlers. You tell the handlers which function to call for what purpose. Now open the XML file. That means if the handle, when it's trying to open the data.xml document that we have for reading purpose, if that fails, then we will call the die. It'll say cannot open the file. Otherwise, we start grabbing the data from the handler into the data. Oh, I made a mistake here, guys. Students. I initially called this one student. I changed that to students. I forgot to put the S there. That's why, line 30 will error out when you try to compile this code. We are not ready yet. However, I did compile and it was giving me an error, so I fixed it. So right now there is no output because our start elements and end elements and character data are all empty. So once you are done with this code, run your PHP code just to make sure that you see nothing. If you see nothing, that means so far so good. Okay, so I will scroll up to each one of these functions. I'm going to start filling those. Now, remember 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, maybe we learned about that if you have a variable declared outside of all the functions, if you tried redeclaring another variable with the same name, it is considered local. It cannot refer back to the one declared outside until and unless you use the word global. That means that I am referring to the variable that's declared outside. So that's why I'm declaring students and I'm declaring our elements just to show that these are global. We're using the ones that we declared on lines 2 and 3. If not empty, whatever you're passing, the name of the item, okay, then check to see if that name is course, because that is the array that we have, course. Okay, if that name is course, then the students will be an array. Just making sure that there are no errors. I just refreshed my output. In the end elements, I only need the elements because it's just the end. So that means if you have reached the end of the tag or end of the whatever tag you have reached, then just set the elements to nothing. So it's a closing tag. Now let's look at the data inside. Make one change, guys. Line number 20, change the name to data because we are now referring to data, not the name. Line number 20. If not empty data, then we got to make sure what is the name of the element that we are reading. Elements equals to, we got what, name, country, and phone, right? Okay, name or element equals country or elements equal phone. Students. Why are we doing count -1? Because if there are 4 students, the count will be 4, but the actual elements are 0 through 3. That's why we're doing -1. And then grab the element in which you want to put that data. Oh, do one more thing, guys. Uppercase all the element names. Instead of lowercase course name, country, phone, change it to uppercase course name, country, phone. And then when you refresh, okay, let me, hold on a second. So. Lines 44 through 50 are running. But ooh. No, that's right. Students as.
Are you not getting any data?
Oh, I forgot here, to uppercase in the
Yeah.
loop. Yeah,
That's what I did. I was just making sure.
yeah.
And then do you do that in the if statement too?
Right, everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere the tags are used, use uppercase. And then you can pull the data.
Can you show me a start elements again? All right, thanks.
So everybody got this one working?
Works for me.
Well, then that'll be all for today, guys.
All right. Do we have any homework?
Oh wait, hold on.
No, I'm not assigning any new homework today. In fact, let me move that out of the way so it doesn't bother you in your grade book. 1 second.
Can I look at your data.xml?
Sure.
I don't think, huh? Mine is identical, but it's giving me errors when I'm doing the capitalized names.
Just
There.
1 minute and I will answer that question. Okay. So,
Hold
uh,
on, I think I might know what the issue is. I know what the issue is, but I don't know how to fix it. Can I look at your code again?
sure.
That's what it should be. Scroll all the way down. I don't think there's anything, yeah. Scroll up then. That's good. What about the other functions? I missed an equal sign. That's better. I had elements equals phone, not is equal to phone.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
The little thing that got me. All right.
Cool. So, next week, we will be starting to look into the object-oriented programming with PHP.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Okay, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you. I'll see some of you Friday.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
see you
nice.
Friday.
Take care.
See ya. Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good
Bye.
week.
Good night.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.